We can start off with Jamal, followed by Mia.
Hey, Coach, how'd you guys make it out injury-wise?
Yeah, a couple nicks here and there, but not any anticipated misses for the Houston game. Just some things we may have to manage. Guys got a little nicked up, but no, don't anticipate missing anybody from this past game to the next.
Kind of a performance that you wouldn't expect from Brian Thomas. When you look back at it, did you get a chance to talk with him and see if there was something going on or try and get to the root of it?
Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation here shortly. I think ultimately, I know he's kind of got he's got a couple things going on. Had a wrist injury going into the game, and did that have play a part in some of this stuff? I've got to go talk to him, but I think he's aware of it and needs to have a better week this week. I think he understands what's at stake. He understands what's going on, and we got to go get to the root of it.
And can you teach a team how to close out games? Is that something that teams can learn how to do, how to finish?
I'd love to believe. I don't think we're definitely not talking about moral victories here for sure. You you've we definitely did some really good things in that game, and ultimately didn't close it out. And that's the frustrating part. You look at red zone on both sides, third downs, executing some of the situational stuff that we probably weren't as clean at to ultimately go close out your opponent on the road. So yeah, we do need to learn how to win as a team in 2025. Like there's a whole new everything, and every team needs to kind of come together in those moments. And this is a great test for us to be able to see how we respond going into a big divisional game.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
We'll go Mia, followed by D-Rock.
Hey, Liam, after watching the tape back, did you feel like you guys, I don't want to say abandoned the run, but maybe could have capitalized on it a little bit more than you already did?
Yeah, I think there was definitely a couple moments where, we had a couple runs called that got, canned out of a few of them. If you really look at having the opportunity, 11 minutes left, we throw the ball into the end zone, have the drop, and then, you look at the next drive off the turnover. I think that's probably where we could have got a couple more runs off, but would have been able to allow us to kick a field goal there, to go up 10 if we would have had the touchdown. So yeah, there's always calls you want back, and especially, we were moving it pretty good in the run game. So yeah, definitely could have got a couple runs called later on.
And then just to clarify with a couple of, like you said, just nicks and bruises, nobody's going to be affected. But Ezra, I know, came off the field. He's good to go, obviously, since he's had a pretty good game and he's had a pretty good 2 weeks.
Yeah, he has. I mean, we may need to take care of him a little bit this week, but anticipate him being able to play on Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
D-Rock, followed by Gary.
Hey, Liam, when did Brian hurt that wrist? Because he wasn't on the injury report last week.
Yeah, I think it was during I don't know when he did it, but it was something that's just been just been kind of a little nag. I don't think it's anything that's huge. It's just it's a thing that he's kind of been working through. So everybody goes through some things, and it's our job to get to the bottom of it and try to get him to feel good and play at the highest level he can.
I think Trevor's first interception, the one that bounced off of Brian's hands, was that a situation where he sat and Trevor kept leading him, or was he supposed to keep moving? What happened?
Yeah, it was a middle read route basically, and there was nothing kind of holding the backside, so it was a play that we've hit a number of times in training camp and at Miami joint and a few other times, and I think he may have just let him a little bit too far, a little. So if we're gonna throw that ball, it probably needed to be a little bit more, on the body there. But that's getting in sync together, getting the connection together. That's something that we all know has been a work in progress, and there was definitely some bright spots. I tried to go at seven a little bit earlier in the game, especially first play of the game, first drive of the game, try to get things going a little bit. And, we just didn't capitalize on some of those other opportunities when he was targeted.
I mean, you were coming into this with Trevor in his third new offense. He obviously had the shoulder and hadn't played in 9 months, and we're reworking the footwork. So is he where you wanted him to be after 2 weeks? I mean, I'm assuming you thought this would be a little bit longer process,
For
that it
sure.
wouldn't just be automatic.
Yeah, for sure. I think I thought he took big steps from last week to this week. I think he made some unbelievable throws in that game. There's definitely a few we'd like to have back, and there's calls I'd like to have back. There's plays everybody would like to have back, but I am pleased with where he is in terms of the strides he made from week 1 to week 2, and some critical third down conversions, especially later in the game. I think he can continue to use his legs as a weapon. But I was pleased, like the operation again, like he getting us in and out of calls, cans, Oscars, alert, like he handled a lot of that stuff again for a second straight week. So I'm pleased with where he is. Absolutely. I was very pleased with the way that he played in a lot of ways on yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary, followed by Mark.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Coach, this your decision to go for it on fourth down. You were very quick yesterday in saying that the analytics told you to go for it. Yeah, and you weren't second guessing yourself. But are there times in the future in a similar situation where you may have a different feeling in your gut and you may take the conservative route and take the field goal, or will you guys go with the analytics when they tell you to take that option?
Yeah, I think it's always you're thinking about obviously the data. What is that? That's the first thing that you're kind of hearing, okay? Like from up top, what is it saying? And then you're going with your gut on those calls. And so that was a combination of data and gut, where you're saying, okay, who's on the other side, other quarterback, your opposing quarterback on the road, to go up 6 there. That we've watched that scenario play out too many times in my game management meeting for me to not feel 100% confident with that decision. You watch so many opportunities where you do that. You go up 6, you kick it off. They get the ball at the plus 30 to 35 yard line, and now their mindset is touchdown. And so you go down and they go down and score and you lose by 1 point. You guys would all be killing me today anyway. So at the end of the day, I want to be aggressive and give ourselves a chance to go close games out on our terms. But each week, those decisions definitely could change just based on the weather, based on where we are in the game, how our guys are playing, how their guys are playing, and the quarterback, all those things, how our defense is playing. I felt confident that if we did not get that it would take a lot for them to go down and drive 90 to go score. And it did. It took them 2 fourth down conversions and pass interference for them to have the opportunity to go down and score. And kudos to them. They did.
And lastly, as a head coach, are you going to be one to send video of, let's say, that pass interference to the league office and ask for explanations? That and maybe the call early on Trayvon where he knocked the ball out of Joe's hands. Are you going to pose some questions to the office about those?
Absolutely. We do that every week. We send those in, and it's not to throw it in there. It's really to get clarity so that we can go coach the situation better and we can go educate our players as to why this was ruled a certain way. I really don't believe in putting the game in the ref's hands, ultimately. Like that's not they're not trying to have one team or the other lose, win or lose. I don't believe that. But we will send those in to get clarity so that we can go coach Travis on how to play that ball, if that's the case. And same thing with just the understanding of the ruling on Trayvon and things like that. So it's more educational for us as coaches, staff, and players. But you definitely want to get clarity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to
Coach,
Mark
what,
Long and then Ryan O'Halloran.
hey, Liam, what was your take on how Travis played that ball? Where was, why was the flag thrown? Was it maybe a little bit of the hand fighting because he didn't turn his head around?
I think it was the hand fighting that they're probably going to talk about. I think, he opened up the gate a little bit at the beginning, which kind of allowed him to get on top of him. But, there was a little hand fighting going on between the two of them. What we watched and saw was he did still have the ability to get his head, eyes, and hand back to deflect the ball. That's what we saw. But ultimately, there was some hand fighting going on that they're probably going to say was it. I guess I don't know. So
Yeah.
I thought he made a good play on the ball.
Was that a pretty good glimpse of his ball skills when you look at the play that one and the ball he knocked down earlier in the game on the sideline?
Yeah. There not a lot of guys can get their head around at that point and still see it and find it and go, make a play on the ball. So I think definitely some of the natural ball skills, anticipation showed up. He played obviously a lot more snaps on defense this week, and obviously had the penalty, but I was pleased. I was proud of the way he competed. We're going to need more of it. We're going to need him to continue to ascend, and I was pleased with the way he played overall.
And then on a separate note, obviously you weren't here last year, but this will be Trevor's first game versus Aziz Al-Shir. You have to talk to your team at all about, reminding them that, hey, this is not a time for any kind of retaliation or anything like that?
Yeah, we talked just now as a team and really just talked about the focus being on us, and we need it to be. We don't have time to waste energy or emotional energy on anything else besides fixing and correcting the issues and mistakes from our game and putting our effort into we got a huge in-division opponent this week. Yes, we have an opponent we have to play and prepare for, but we really have to focus on us right now and get some of this stuff cleaned up that we messed up yesterday, coaches, players, everybody. But I think at this point it's so early, like these, there may be, who knows what emotions, I can't speak to that, but I can say that these guys, I think they'll come in with the right mindset and mentality this week to come and get this thing right in terms of things we got to get fixed and be ready to go play a tough physical game that we're going to go have to play on Sunday. Thank you.
Our last two will be Ryan, followed by Brent. If we could please keep it to just one question apiece.
I only got one question, so I'll make it about Trevor saying after the game that he's learned from you to show some fire, Liam. How important is that in your relationship that you learn from each other, and even if some videos may go viral during the game?
Yeah, I mean, I was it gets made to be a thing, obviously, in this rat poison world we live in. But it's it's emotional. It's an emotional game. It's a competitive game. We're all competitive. We're all emotional. I can control mine better. And he was just telling me to chill, like move on. He wasn't telling me to go screw. He's just saying, dude, move on. Like, come on, guys. Like, it's but yeah, to answer your question, Ryan, I was very pleased with the way he showed something. He did.
Yeah.
He got ticked off at times. He had great dialogue with his teammates on the sidelines. He made some huge throws for us in critical moments. And if anything, I was extremely encouraged with Trevor post game, and we had some great conversations in the locker room, on the plane today. So all is well when it comes to our relationship.
All right, thanks. We'll see you Wednesday.
Thanks, Ray.
All right, Coach. That didn't feel like just another loss, perhaps yesterday. You had so much going on there. Obviously, the Brian stuff maybe everybody making it a bigger deal about you and Trevor. And now you got a division opponent coming in. You guys spoke pretty transparently. You knew adversity was coming at some point.
Yeah.
You feel like it's arrived, and how curious are you about how you guys all handle it for the next couple of days before you even get to Sunday?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I think anytime you lose, it becomes somewhat of adversity, right? Because the result that we're striving to achieve, we did not meet. So we can say that. And I mean, like Jordan Lewis said today, he's like, man, this isn't adversity, guys. We just lost the game. I mean, we didn't get the result we wanted. So, but it is our response, Brent, it is. Our response will definitely have to show up, like the way that we respond in meetings, the way that we interact at practice, the way that we go out and practice, the details, the intentionality, the way that we do everything this week and every week. Like I told these guys, nothing is going to change about the way that we go about our business. We did not get the result we wanted. We need to improve every single week. That's the goal. There's a lot of things that we can continue to do to get better. A lot of self-inflicted wounds that we need to improve upon to stop hurting ourselves. But there's no flinch. Like there can be no flinch. It's one game. It's not the result. But man, I'm very proud of the way that these guys play. These guys play their tails off. It's fun to watch them compete on Sundays, like for 2 weeks in a row, and really throughout the preseason. I enjoy watching this team compete on Sundays and being a part of that. That's what I'm actually really interested to kind of continue to see.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.